Carolyn Dube here. What's on my mind today? Well, it's spin art. Remember that from when you were a kid? Thing would spin the paper around really quickly and you drop a really a really runny paint, which is really wet, and on it, and it would just splatter and spin it everywhere. Well, I still think about that from time to time, and anytime something's spinning, it makes me think of that. So what got me thinking about that today? The groove tool. This is from Artsy. It is this cool little gizmo. They sent me one to try out, and it's got various heads. There's foam, you've got a brush, and they have sandpaper, or sand disc, whatever you want to call them. And then you turn it on, it spins, and you can spread paint, whatever you've got. Well, it works just like they said it would, but I don't sand things very much. And I kept looking at that, and it's really, really flat. And I thought, what if I use this to make spin art? Now, it started out being very neat and tidy spin art, handheld, very easy to do. And then when I added, well, you'll see when it starts to get messy. But anyway, come and join me for a little play making spin art. Well, here are the supplies that I need to make my homemade spin art. I've got the groove tool and I've got one of the sanding bits on it. I've got a block of colors of cardstock. This is a nice weight. It's sturdy and firm enough, but it's not super thick. I've got some kind of tape or adhesive, and what I'm going to do is put that tape on there, stick that groove tool on it so it holds the paper to it. Next thing I've got is a fine liner, and it's got a really fine tip on it. I've filled it with white high flow paint. I've turned on my groove tool, and then I'm just going to give a little squeeze, and I'm going to drag that along. And of course, this comes with the warning that it is mesmerizing and addictive all at the same time. Loving the fact that I get these awesome patterns on there, and this is incredibly forgiving. And notice it wasn't messy either. Spin art used to be a really messy thing. But if I do this with just a little bit of paint in there in the squirty bottle, fine liner, there's the word, it doesn't make a mess. Well, I'll make a mess before too long, but I'm not making it yet. How hard I squeeze the bottle or where I put the tip down changes the look of what I get when I turn off the groove tool. So all sorts of possibilities, and even though this is in black and white, and you know how much I love a rainbow of color, I am totally addicted to this in black and white too. So did a couple, can't stop now. Oh look, oops, I got some paint on there. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem by the time this is done. I am just going to start dropping some paint on there. You can see it sort of splitting out or spreading out as the big drop was running along the side. Totally going to change the look of this one compared to some of the others because it's going to have a nice big leg in it. So now I've turned it on high. Whether you have this on high or whether you have it on low, works just the same. So there's that streak of paint that you saw from the big drop that I put on. Love that sort of random slice through it. Well, now I'm going to try it with some colors, and I'm going to end up using a lot more ink. Be sure to notice what's happening with my hand. You'll start to see the splatters hit my hand as I add more and more ink to this. Camera's having a heck of a time focusing on this. This whole thing is just messing with the autofocus, so my apologies for that. But I'm really putting a lot more on here, and you'll start to see it kind of smear and spread around. And this is more of the look of spin art from when I was a kid. Well, you know, these might be little pieces of paper, but they are so addictive, so you betcha I'm going to make some more. My plan was to put a whole bunch of colors on this one. I'm going to start out with blue, and notice I said the plan was because it's not going to turn out. See, I even pick up the orange when I really wanted the blue. So now I'm going to go with the blue. Remember, my goal was to put lots and lots on here and absolutely load it up with color. And after I put the blue on, I stopped and looked at it, and I absolutely fell in love with that, what looks like this little stitching pattern around it. Totally happy with that. I can't even bring myself to put more color on that, so I'm going to set that one aside and get yet another one. Well, I'm totally torn at this point between the really crisp and clean image of that black and white one with just a little bit of paint and the look of having lots and lots of paint running everywhere. So what's my answer to that? I'm going to make both kinds and just have a whole lot of fun playing around with the groove tool, making some spin art. Well, you're about to see this one get really messy as I load even more ink onto it. That third color is when I really hit the splash zone with it. And I have to say, when I hit the green with this and it goes everywhere, I feel like I'm about 7 years old again. It is the best feeling, just letting myself play and have fun. Of course, I'm smarter now that I'm older than 7, and I had an apron on and wasn't wearing a white shirt. So if I got a little something on me, it was no big deal. And that tape on the back of the papers, well, Well, what I did is I laid them flat to dry, but once they're dry, I have that tape on the back. What am I going to do? I could take the time to peel the tape off, this and that, and I'm just not going to put that much effort into it. I'm going to take a piece of ripped paper, I'm going to stick that over it, and now that tape is not a problem. If I know exactly where I'm going to use this, I could have just stuck it right down on that art journal page or wherever I was going to use it, but I got no idea where I'm going to use these things. I'm just having fun making them. Well, thanks for joining me for today's play. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up. Of course, if you know somebody that you think would enjoy it, I'd love it if you'd share it with them. Want to know more of what I'm up to? Stop on over to the blog at acolorfuljourney.com. Over there, I've got a free newsletter that has all sorts of downloadable goodies for you once you sign up. And in each and every newsletter, there's always a treat. Thanks for being a part of this colorful journey.